Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be checking out a very fun theme team in the Great League, the Super Smash Bros. Theme team. This team consists exclusively of Pokemon that are playable in Super Smash Bros. On the lead, we have Charizard. As our safe switch, we have Greninja, and as the closer, we are running Lucario. This is a team with many weaknesses, so it's definitely not a team I'd recommend for climbing, but I was able to get some very fun wins with it. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out the Super Smash Bros. Theme team in action in the Great League. Hopping to the first match, picking up a Dream Lead Charizard into Shadow Victory Bell. Opponent is going to save switch into Defense Deoxys, and odds are they probably have a Bastiodon in the back. The good news is, both of my back two Pokemon are able to hit Bastiodon for super effective damage. I'm able to land the Blast Burn, and I will commit the shield as either a Rock Slide or a Thunderbolt would do a lot of damage. My opponent ends up going for the Psycho Boost, and I'm able to win CMP with the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is going to get the shield, and at this point, they've lowered their attack by 2 stages, so I'm going to let this through. A Rock Slide is able to connect, but since it's debuffed, I'm able to farm down, leave with a sliver of health, and a Dragon Claw remaining. In comes the Victory Bell, they're going to tank the Dragon Claw, and I'm going to send in Lucario. If it's Bastiodon in the back, I am just going to start ramping up these counters so I can tear it to shreds. Victory Bell shields the power-up punch, and that tells me all I need to know. It's a Bastiodon, and this Bastiodon is about to feel Lucario's wrath. In comes the Bastiodon, and these counters are absolutely tearing it to shreds. Power-up punch lands, Lucario gets it low, show them Greninja. Greninja takes down the Victory Bell, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a tough lead Charizard into Deoxys. Deoxys has the ability to hit this entire team for super effective damage, so definitely not a fun Pokemon to see. I'm going to strike first, going for the Blast Burn. It connects and gets Charizard into the red. I will commit the shield as I don't really want to take super effective damage here. They fire off the Thunderbolt. I'm going to continue to farm. I try and catch the Psycho Boost onto Greninja, but unfortunately my opponent did not go for it, and I'm forced to shield a 1 HP Thunderbolt on my Greninja. Not the best. My opponent is going to send in Sableye, and suddenly, I may have a chance here. If Sableye is their best answer to Greninja, then honestly, I'm not in a bad spot. They're going to go for a Foul Play. Foul Play is resisted, but Greninja is very frail. Foul Play gets Greninja low. I go for the last second Night Slash. I should have gone for the Surf. Surf would do slightly more here. Night Slash is going to land, and Sableye is going to get the farm down. I am going to send back in the Charizard, and they have a Stunfisk in the back. I'm going to bait here, really hoping they decide to shield. Dragon Claw gets the shield, and I make it to the Blast Burn. This will be hitting for massive super effective damage onto the Stunfisk. Blast Burn lands, snipe with Lucario, and that is a good game. Moving into the next match, picking up a great lead Charizard into Trevenant. You absolutely love to see it. And even better, the Trevenant is staying in this matchup, which means somewhere in the back, they are also weak to Zard. If that's the case, I'm actually going to go for a bait here. I'm expecting they're going to protect the Trevenant, and they do with a shield. That's massive. I'm going to commit the shield myself. Trevenant full sends the Shadow Ball, and that's fantastic for me. I'm going to overfarm quite a bit, and at this point, the wing attacks have done enough damage that a Dragon Claw should just about be lethal. Dragon Claw is going to KO, and I'm able to win the lead. My opponent is going to send in their own Charizard, but they're running a Shadow. I only have one answer to this in the back, so I'm going to stay in with the Charizard, go for the Blast Burn, but unfortunately my opponent will shield. I'm going to send in Greninja, these bubbles dealing a ton of damage. This is a tough call. Shadow Blast Burn will hurt a lot. I commit the shield, I get baited with a Dragon Claw, and they outpace by a single turn. That is not great. Shadow Blast Burn KOs Greninja, and I'm going to send in Lucario. Lucario not quite able to farm down Shadow Charizard, living on 1 HP, reaching a last second Dragon Claw in the back. They have Registeel, and unfortunately this is going to be game over for me since I'm not running close combat. I can make a second power-up punch, but unfortunately I'm not going to make it to the Shadow Ball that I need to KO. Power-up punch gets them low, but they have the Focus Blast ready to go. Focus Blast will take care of Lucario, and that's a good game. Great lead in the next match, Charizard into Venusaur. Opponent will immediately save switch into an Abomasnow, and they are absolutely core broken by the Charizard. They're going to strike first with the Weather Ball, but this is only neutral, so I'm going to let that through and then fire off the double super effective Blast Burn. I want the one hit or the shield, and we get the one hit KO. Opponent, no way they're bringing back in the Venusaur. They're going to bring in their final Pokemon, which is Diggersby. Diggersby will be met with Greninja. Greninja able to outpace and go for the Surf. Surf will hit for some nice super effective damage onto the Diggersby, and at this point, honestly, I'm just going to let Greninja go. I don't really want to shield and have it face that Venusaur, so I'm going to let it tank the Earthquake and get farmed down. I'm going to fully wait my timer here and then send in Lucario. I should be able to farm down before they make it to the Earthquake, so they're forced to go for a Fire Punch instead. Lucario is extremely frail. That Fire Punch still does massive damage, and in comes the Venusaur. Venusaur is going to be met with a Shadow Ball from Lucario. This would do a ton of neutral damage. We do see a shield being used, and now back in comes the Charizard. I will commit the shield. Charizard does not have a lot of HP remaining, but they have very minimal remaining fast move pressure. I'm going to fire off the Blast Burn. This is the CMP tie to Frenzy Plant number 2. Blast Burn is going to get the shield. I'm going to commit the shield myself, and if 5 wing attacks don't KO, I will need to Dragon Claw here. So I farm up. Unfortunately, 5 wing attacks are barely not enough to KO, so I am forced to go for the Dragon Claw on the CMP tie. That KOs the Venusaur. We get to the Dragon Claw versus Diggersby. Down goes Diggersby, and that will be game over. Moving into the next match, leading Charizard into Dapper Noctowl. Noctowl wearing a great costume, but unfortunately not a great Pokemon for this team to see, as I don't really have a hard check to it. I'm going to fire off the Blast Burn, and I end up winning CMP. Blast Burn does get shielded by the Noctowl, and Noctowl is going to return the favor. The Noctowl fires off the Sky Attack. Sky Attack lands, and they will be able to outpace and reach Sky Attack number 2 just before I make my Blast Burn. I decide to let this go, as I'm going to try and go for a sweep with Lucario. I'm going to send in Lucario, go for the Power-Up Punch, shield once, and then hopefully counter down and leave with some boosted energy for whatever my opponent has in the back. I will commit the shield here, and now I'm just going to go for the farm down with Lucario. My opponent pivots into a Sableye. I'm going to farm up some energy, go for the Foul Play catch onto Greninja, but my opponent holds on to their energy, and this is enough for the return. I commit the shield. It is the return, and now I'm going to farm up with Greninja and then fire off this Surf. Surf should just about KO here. Sableye barely able to hang on, but taken out by one bubble. Do they send in the Noctowl, or do we see their final Pokemon here? We see the final Pokemon, and it's an Umbreon. This might actually be possible for me to win this game. Greninja is going to start spamming out Surf after Surf in this matchup, as the Surfs plus the bubble is starting to add up. I'm going for Surf number 2 here. That is going to get Umbreon below half health. Umbreon is going to fire off a Last Resort. Last Resort gets me dangerously low. I'm going to switch into Lucario. Can I get the farm down? I barely cannot. And we lose a heartbreakingly close game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a very nice lead, Charizard into Medicham. Considering I'm double weak to counter on the back, very happy to catch the Medi on the lead. My opponent save switches into an Umbreon, and I have the perfect response available with my Lucario. Umbreon can only hit for resisted damage here with its standard Foul Play Last Resort moveset. I'm going to throw one Power-Up Punch and then commit to the farm down. My goal is to leave with not a lot of HP, but with a Shadow Ball loaded to threaten a shield from the Medi. Foul Play is going to land. Lucario able to get the farm down, and I leave on very low HP, and with a Shadow Ball loaded, I blind Shadow Ball, but my opponent reads me like a book and sends in Noctowl. A very nice play there from my opponent. I'm going to send in Greninja. They're going to send in the Medicham, and now it's all up to Charizard to get rid of this Medicham. Honestly, I should have baited here, because at this point, they know Medicham's the win con, so they're probably going to be shielding it. Medicham is probably just going to be spamming out Ice Punches, because Ice Punch is pretty cheap, but I will start shielding, as I can't afford to let a potential Psychic through. I am going to bait this time, however, going for the Dragon Claw bait, and I'm able to get a shield from the Medicham. That's quite nice. I'm going to double shield here as well. I am full committing to this Charizard, because Charizard does have a lot of play here. I'm going to fire off the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw is going to get them low, and then I'm going to try and catch onto Greninja, but my opponent has the same idea. They're going to send in Noctowl simultaneously. Surf gets the Noctowl low. Noctowl is going for the Sky Attack. Shields are down. I just have to take the damage. Can Greninja farm down? Yes, it can. And on 1 HP, I leave with the Night Slash loaded. Night Slash takes down the Medicham. And we get a boost for the road. Now, some people might be asking, Henry, well, what does this team do against an Azu? Well, you throw one wing attack and you top left. We've got an incredible lead in the next match, Charizard into Shadow Venusaur, and the Venusaur is staying in, which means they are ABA weak to Charizard. Something in the back does not want to see the Zard, and neither does the Venusaur as it gets one shot. But unfortunately, they have a Lanturn, and I am not prepared to handle a Lanturn as this team is triple weak. Even Lucario just takes so much damage from a Surf that I'm in a lot of trouble here. I'm going to full send the Shadow Ball, hoping they call the bait, but they do not. They commit the shield, they spark all the way down, and they leave with a lot of energy. I do have a shield advantage, so I have to hope that a shield advantage plus Greninja is going to be enough here. I send in Greninja. Unfortunate timing from my opponent as I'm given a bubble for free. I will commit the shield and get baited with a Surf. I'm going to return fire with the Night Slash. At this point, they have to start shielding if they want to preserve the Lanturn, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They have a lot of energy here. Do I commit the shield? Yes, I do, and I get baited again. I reach the Night Slash, but it's caught onto a Powder Snow Alolan Ninetales. So that's what they had in back that did not want to see Charizard. I'm going to bank the Night Slash for later, send in the Charizard, and at this point, I have the Blast Burn loaded. I tank a Weather Ball, and this is going to be goodbye to the Ninetales. Blast Burn, charging up, one-shots the Ninetales. Back in comes Lanturn, but Lanturn is unfortunately out of luck in this match as Greninja has that Night Slash loaded, and Greninja has an incredibly high attack stat. Night Slash will be taking care of the Lanturn, and that is a good game. We've got a very tough lead in the next match, Charizard into Stunfisk. Stunfisk just cleanly outpaces, so I do need to switch out of here into Greninja, and my opponent responds with an Altaria. This is a terrible matchup. A boost here could really be a help. Night Slash does not get the boost, and they're able to reach a Sky Attack. I decide to commit a shield, because hopefully, 2 more Night Slashes, at least one of them can probably grab a shield back. So I'm going to be firing off this Night Slash. Night Slash does get shielded from Altaria. Greninja on very low HP, able to withstand the Dragon Breath and reach one final Night Slash. Night Slash is going to land, and Altaria gets the farm down. In comes Charizard, but Charizard is being met with quite a bit of energy from Altaria. Altaria goes for the Sky Attack, that's able to land. Charizard going straight for the Dragon Claw, just wanting to get rid of the Altaria, and then hopefully Lucario can sweep. In comes Lucario. Opponent is slow on the switch, and they send in Noctowl. The fact that they were slow, maybe there's a chance. I'm going for the power-up punch right away. These counters do only hit for neutral, but they are now boosted. I'm going for power-up punch number 2. This looks to be a CMP tie. My opponent is going to let that go. The question is, can I farm down before they reach another Sky Attack here? It would be massive if so. Lucario going for the farm down, and I fall agonizingly short on 1 HP. Noctowl KOs Lucario, and I concede the match. Hopping into the final match, leading into yet another Trevenant. Opponent is going to save switch into Umbreon, but Umbreon is not a safe switch when Lucario is here. Lucario is going to fire off the power-up punch, and from here, I should just be able to farm all the way down. Umbreon is going to start to return fire here. Umbreon goes for the foul play. That connects. Lucario able to withstand the damage and continue to farm. Umbreon only going to reach one more charge move here. They go for the last resort. Lucario able to hang on, farm down, and leave with a Shadow Ball loaded to threaten the Trevenant. Shadow Ball onto the Trevenant, does get the shield. Trevenant farms down. I'm going to send in Charizard. Charizard is going to be met with a Shadow Ball from the Trevenant, and I will commit the shield. I should hopefully be in a pretty decent spot here, but they have Lanturn in the back, and this is incredibly bad. I'm going to fire off the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw will get some chip damage, and I'm going to try and catch a Surf onto Greninja, but my opponent is able to hold on to their energy. That is not good at all. Tough decision to make. I shield at the last second, and I shield a Thunderbolt. Honestly, being able to shield there is massive. I'm going to fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash gets the shield. Greninja continuing to farm, and I'm going for Night Slash number 2. I need this damage to put it into a range where Charizard can take care of it. And now it's in a range where Zard can KO. Opponent is going to sack the Trevenant as they farm up a bunch of energy, and Night Slash is going to KO. Back in comes the Lanturn. Lanturn gets the farm down, but Charizard has energy loaded, winning CMP over the Lanturn, and that is a good game. All in all, I had a ton of fun with the Super Smash Bros. Theme team. As I mentioned at the start, this is definitely not a team that I would recommend for climbing, as it's a team that has a ton of weaknesses. However, being able to navigate around those weaknesses and get the wins that I did was honestly a lot of fun. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.